like I'm drinking.
Problem
like
one.
Drink.
Problem one.
I've eaten sand before, so I know it tasted like sand. Different flavor. It was the worst decision I have made this year. And I've made a bunch of bad decisions, but that one was the worst. I realized
I not a friend of luxury.
No, don't say it like that. You know you are weird. Okay, you before we move on, what does Apple founder and Bob Marley have in common?
How are you guys doing?
I'm good.
How are you doing?
How are we all doing?
Good. Been very busy, but okay.
That's good to hear.
Busy time,
It has. In real time, but they don't know that. All they know is that it's been yesterday. Or last episode, anyways. They don't know. Like, you know how, like, you really don't know, like, what's going on in people's lives. It has. Some people have moved. I'm back in Joburg, people. Wait, was I back in Joburg last time we recorded?
Oh, yeah.
I was also.
Yes, you were back in Joburg.
Yeah, you were actually. You were saying that you were moving out.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true.
So you've got a new crib now and everything.
Yes. A lot of white people, a couple of Indian people, a couple of black people. We stay in an estate, so it's quite interesting.
Why does this matter?
No, I'm just giving people my background, my surroundings, my life story.
No, but on the side, it's said that the higher the percentage of white people in an area, the safer it is. At least in Joburg.
I would say, but it's also
really?
It's also the more expensive it is. Because what is not cheap. It's the truth, though. Like I saw eggs for 90 rand.
Places where Woolworths is like your primary grocery store.
Okay, so there's Woolworths and Pick and Pay, right? So
no, but
there's a Pick and Pay.
Fair to Woolworths,
but the eggs, I know that Americans were complete. There was a time when eggs was a meme in America, but eggs are 91 rand for 18 eggs.
Where? Why?
No, exactly.
I'm asking you.
No.
What?
You know what?
It's not just for 18 eggs.
It's not just eggs. Everything has gone up.
No. I get you.
Wait, how much are eggs at a regular shop? Because
so I ended up buying it. I ended up buying it at Checkers. I think it was 50 something at Checkers for 18. It was less than 60 anyways. I think it was 58 or so.
Wow.
And at Pick and Pay, it was also 58 or so. Woolworths is like, why? Why are we going there? At least their muesli was cheaper than Take a Loss muesli. Although, to be fair, I bought the wrong muesli. So I was experimenting. I genuinely bought the right muesli once. And then I was like, let me try a different flavor. It was the worst decision I have made this year. And I've made a bunch of bad decisions, but that one was the worst. It tasted like feet. Like feet.
Really?
Bruh.
You've eaten feet?
And I like muesli. No, I just imagined how it would taste, and it tasted like that. I've eaten sand before, so I know it tasted like sand. Just that the meat had much more.
Okay.
In fact, probably tasted better. In fact, feet probably tasted better because feet has more stuff. This sauce was dry. There was no redeeming quality. I'm never taking that flavor. In fact, I'm just going back to the flavor that I know.
How is your wait? Sorry. Pause. How is your muesli dry when you're eating it? Are you not supposed to have it with something? Like, are you just eating muesli just raw dogging it or what?
There's yogurt. They're supposed to have muesli with yogurt. So what happened was, this one happened, right? There's the blueberry flavored one is really nice. So I tend to eat it without yogurt because it just I feel like the yogurt even reduces the spirit. That's how nice it is. It tastes amazing. And I will normally have yogurt on the side, like I'm drinking.
Problem one.
Yes. I know. Normally, I can still have the blueberry one with yogurt, but that's just how good it tastes. So I was like, let me try this flavor It was our first time having AB even told me don't do it. But I was like, why not? We bought a one flavor there. It was really nice. Let's experiment. You can't just be that kind of person that buying the same flavor. Yes, I'm that person. I'm never trying anything new. If I don't hear from 3 people that this thing tastes amazing, I'm never trying it again in my life. Anyways, I went there. I bought the luxury flavor. I saw that it had like banana. And I was like, it can't be that bad now.
The flavor was called luxury.
You.
I realized I am not a friend of luxury.
No, don't say it like that. You know what? Fine, I am not. After that one, I am not. That stuff honestly tasted very. I'm not even kidding. Like, and I get it. It might be healthy for you. It might be the best for you. It tasted horrible, guys. And I'm not. I want to give it away, but I also
does it have
want to give
nuts
to
in
somebody.
it?
Let me actually bring
Does
it
it
out.
have nuts in it?
Let me bring it out.
You can't show the product on the screen though.
Please, we can't show them. We can't. I don't know.
Because we are not showing off Muesli that we disagree.
You know who's going to do anything to it? Is this flavor right here, right? It has it's Muesli with dates, almond nuts, dry banana and apple. Yeah, it's this.
Oh, that's my favorite. That was my favorite. How come
You see,
don't
you are
like it?
weird. Okay, you see. Does it taste great though? Does it? It tastes like feet, doesn't it? It tastes like feet, doesn't it?
No, it doesn't. No, it does not. Just make a parfait with it. It's perfect.
No, you know what, Bella? You're gonna try this and tell us next time. You have to try this, and then you can be the honest judge. Because I'm no, you have to try it. Because 2 people have had it and 2 different reactions. No, you have to try it now. You have to be the. No, the blueberry flavor tastes amazing.
Aya is not a fan of luxury.
No, it's not about luxury.
Yeah,
that just tasted horrible.
Look, guys,
that just tasted horrible. Do you know what I did to be able to eat it?
If you've tasted that flavor, what did
you know what I did? We bought bought peanuts with raisin. No, we bought peanuts with raisin, right? So what I did was we had like a pack of peanuts with raisin. So I added peanuts and raisin inside, and then I was able to eat it with the yogurt. I'm still like now that the peanuts and raisin is done, I haven't been able to eat it. I'm even scared if I had my blueberry flavor that is amazing to eat, I still won't be able to eat it. But I have to finish it because AB is not going to touch that with a 6-foot pole. So yeah, just saying, people be careful. Be careful with your experimentation.
One man's meat is another man's.
Yeah.
Can't believe she said it was her favorite.
So.
Where is she coming from? She just it's like
not every.
The day has always been weird. It's fine. It's not. That's
the one I like. No, the one with nuts. I remember that the one with nuts with dried banana.
No, there's a lot of nuts.
And I can't remember if it had dates or something else. Yeah, that's the one I really like.
Date was horrible. Date is horrible. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh wow. Anyway, Biola, how have you been? Clearly, you have not been dealing with any Muesli issues.
No Muesli issues. Jollof rice, jollof.
Do you even eat Muesli?
No.
What?
Yeah.
No, I don't actually.
Exactly.
So
you should.
No, let's take back. No, I don't.
Not this flavor.
After listening to your 10-minute rant, where you stood up.
No, the other ones. I would recommend only the blueberry.
Like
only
meat.
Blueberry.
Then you said, you know what, feet must taste better.
No, only blueberry or blackberry. Only those ones. Only blueberry or blackberry. Okay. Nothing else. Is that even blackberry?
Alright.
Or is that? I just think of the cell phone when I hear blackberry.
No, actually, I think of blackberry. I think of the Nigerian movie Blackberry Babes.
Oh my god. Okay, blackberry is a fruit that exists. What is it saying?
You know,
do
you guys know what this reminds me of, right? I saw yesterday that Apple released a paper about how AI doesn't really think, and all AI does is just uses data that it collects and approximates its I'm paraphrasing, and approximates the result or what is expected. They did a bunch of tests, like real thinking tests. You know those that game where you have to move stuff until everything is proportional on the other side in terms of the one two yeah. Anyways, they did a bunch of tests that are like people of average age or like kids of a particular age that can think should be able to figure it out. Anyway, so I find it funny that Apple is doing this, and the reason why I find it funny is because Apple did their whole Apple intelligence thing, and theirs was really stupid, and they can't compete with the current AI market. So if you can't beat them,
yeah.
And if you can't join them,
that's another
bring everybody
discussion
down to
for
your level.
another day.
I just find it funny.
Because Apple, no, because I actually studied this like last week. Because again, Apple stock dropped, and I saw I just went down the rabbit hole, and basically, Apple has not innovated in 6 years.
Yeah.
Usually, when this guy was still Steve Jobs, they brought out a product pretty much one product every year, or at least once in 2 years.
I can't say
the only thing they've tried to bring out in the last 6 years. No. I'm just saying that. Like,
not blame. No, I get you. I wasn't even saying.
But now the only thing the only thing they brought out is that their Vision Pro thing, and it's a failure.
Okay,
so that glasses thing, yeah.
Let me say this now. First things first. Apple have gotten way too big, and when you get that big and you start doing things, because everything you were doing was successful, so you start going more into yourself. Apple is like, everything that we make is going to come from our team. Everything that we use is going to come from our team. While that will work for you for a extended period of time, after a while you start. It's almost because you lack cooperation with others and you don't really work with others. It's almost like you start eating yourself. And that's the best analogy I can say is now your ideas becomes limited, and in a particular way, it's almost like you are biting your own tail.
So,
but wait, I have a question. Do you think that that's a result of Apple being too big, or that was the design from the start? Because for me, someone who was like the first adopter of the iPod Touch when it first came out, then they modeled the phone on it and everything. I saw firsthand, when I say I don't use Apple products, that was what actually led to it. Because I realized that because I have this product, I can't use any other product with it. Like, it's not a universal type product. It's only this product. So I feel like it was already created to be a type of market where it's just about you.
And
like,
that was
it wasn't
their
a matter of it growing. Exactly. They were selling the call right from the start.
The problem with Apple now is that there's now more focus on making money, not innovation. They've always been. They want to be the unique. Again, this is based on not even my thoughts. Like the research on it. Like, they've not put in. For example, Google with AI. For example, they have over 1 million AI chips. Apple has 50,000.
Okay, let me say
the guys in charge of AI want to, right? Like, there's more focus now on, in terms of their policies, to make money and be like a good stock rather than an IT company that innovates.
Okay, let me say this, right? While I do agree with you, Apple's focus has shifted to making money. First things first, Apple's focus was always going to shift to making money. Like, it's like you innovate, especially when you are up and coming. You innovate, especially when you are. Innovation comes from necessity in a way. Like, there's a lot of necessity that invokes innovation. But when you are at the top of that food, it's like any other company. Like, the road to evil is paved with good intentions. Type of a thing. Dee mentioned something very, very important. He said Apple's whole thing was creating an ecosystem, creating a bubble around people. And what Apple did wrong is, while you create a bubble for your customers, you shouldn't have created a bubble around yourself in a way. One thing people have to understand is that as a company, right? And as there's a lot of people don't like. Okay, let's take a Samsung phone for an example, right? Samsung didn't create Type C, but Samsung uses Type C. Apple was forced to use Type C. They didn't want to, but and there's not. It wasn't like their own charging port or their own if the way they transfer data wasn't good enough. It's just that if you tend to if you tend to close yourself off from the world, like one of the reasons why Apple's AI intelligence is actually is behind everybody is because Apple did this thing where they don't collect information from their users. They did this whole thing where like we are more we if you want privacy, we are better than Android. We protect your privacy beyond anybody else. Now that thing is biting them from behind, because one of the things that Android and all of these other tech companies have is that we will take your data. Like there's this option that they give you. Google will let you know that they're taking your data. But what Google does is that data is now being used to train their AI systems. And that thing is, when everybody was innovating in AI, Apple was putting their money into other things. But because they are not working with anybody else, and because they're not working with the industry standards, or they believe that they are above the industry standards, it's the same way Nokia did it when everybody was going the Android route. Nokia is like, we're going to do our own thing. We are above everybody else, and we're going to go to what they call it, Microsoft. It's everything works. It's the same way it will affect everybody else. If you choose to close yourself up, your biggest issue is not even the money driven ideas. Every company is greedy with money. Yes, maybe Apple chose to follow money more than the rest of the people. I don't really believe so. I think Google's main thing is money. They just use, and everything that Google does is for their ad company, is to make money from their ads.
So
Google is not, nobody is out here.
So what I want to add is that like everybody's out to make money, right? So Google, for example, they are making money, but there's a huge chunk. I can't remember the numbers now. I'll check it. I'll put it. But a huge chunk of their money is going into R&D. In the big four, big five, Apple's the smallest. Apple spends more money on dividend returns than actually dividend return and stock buyback than actually R&D. Like over the past 6-7 years, what the finance department has been cutting down on R&D and moving on into things that will make our stock bigger, make our stock more pricey, rather than R&D. So that they've like, everybody is going to make more money, but sure, everybody's able to make money. But if you are cutting down on R&D, which
but if you look at the way Google does their own R&D, right, is also Google works with a lot of companies. Google was part of OpenAI when they started. Google works with a lot of other companies. They put money in a lot of things. But because Apple is so closed up, they don't work with anybody else. They believe that they are spending a particular amount of money on their R&D, but because they're not innovating with other companies, they're not really, like, how many companies have you heard that Apple invested in the last 10 years? But if you look at Meta, if you look at if you look at Google, if you look at Microsoft will back the most random companies you will not even think of. It will be tomorrow you will hear news that Microsoft lost this amount of money in this company. But for every company that they lost money on, they're probably gaining money from 5 other companies because they're investing in other people. So it's part of the whole thing of like, we are an ecosystem. Everything that we are the best at creating things. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not saying that I'm disputing what you're saying, but is their ideology in their philosophy that is causing them to spend that kind of money, in that type of way.
Why I slightly differ from you is that, like, the thing has always been, we are the innovators. We do things differently. Like we make things that people don't think of, right? But it's still what we need, right? But they have actually, that's what took them to the top. But they have not. They didn't. It's not like if they kept doing that and then failed, we can say, but they actually moved away from what took them up there. Which, because like the iPhone now, They've been doing is what have they been? Even at this point, they're not even changing anything. They're just adding. Maybe they'll add one button here. Then next year they remove it. That and people have been.
Can I say something, right?
People are not like. So
can I say something, right?
Innovation.
Can I say something, right? Apple's innovation, the thing that made Apple's like the standout performer, I mean, or that took them to the top, wasn't only innovation. Android innovated more than Apple. The thing that made Apple's like the cream of the is their ecosystem. That idea of like everything is in sync.
It's part of it.
It is the blue bubble. It is the what do you call it? It is the what do you call it? You know when you send stuff from your phone to your laptop. Be patient. Let me finish, right?
Yeah.
That whole thing of their ecosystem is that innovation. The issue with the ecosystem is when you create an ecosystem for your consumers, that is beautiful, that is fine, that is awesome. The problem is when you think that you need to close yourself up, your business idea, like they took what worked for their customers and took it in-house. That is, you know, people will say, do not get eye on your own supply. But Apple literally got eye on their own supply. Like what they are selling people, they started selling it in-house. Like we can make everything in-house.
Can I jump in?
Of course.
Can I jump in? I think we're all saying the same thing. Like part of what you're saying when you say they brought everything in-house, that was also the appeal to the customers. Apple users believe that they are in it's like a club. Maybe they don't really believe it, but it's a club. And no other person is allowed in that club. Like no Android person, for example, can easily come and just plug into your device. Like they sold this whole idea of like, because you're in this club, you're very secure, nothing gets to you, nothing happens. So now you're trapped in the club. Because think about it. Yeah, if you're using an iPhone, the next best thing for you if you're thinking of buying a laptop is to buy a MacBook. So now you have an iPhone and a MacBook.
They also made it difficult for you to use
device I want to carry around.
To use Apple with other products.
Exactly. So you start thinking, oh, I want to buy. Then you're going to buy an iPad. So you get more and more locked into that. So saying Apple brought it in house is sort of like what the customers were
pushing for.
No, you don't understand.
What they were pushing for, what they wanted.
No, you don't understand what I'm saying. I'm not saying that they should. I'm not again. I'm saying that their ideas, like the customers was, you can build something where you can still have your ecosystem and still be working with other people. The issue that they have, like Apple's the screens for their cell phones is made by Samsung.
Ayo, think about it this way. No, Ayo, think about it this way. Imagine if Hermes, the one that makes the Birkin bag, said, okay, we now work with Louis Vuitton to make these bags.
Oh, by the way, they're all owned by the same
people. $35,000 will not. Yeah, no, I'm just using this as like LVMH is the same. Yeah, I get it. But let me see. Let me say they start working with, what's the designer I can think of? Marc Jacobs. Yeah. The people who are buying Hermes for $35,000 will not find it as exclusive anymore. So if Apple had created an ecosystem that you could still use with other things or you could work with other people, it would not have felt as exclusive.
No, so I wasn't talking about their. I'm not talking about their.
Get out of it.
No, I hear you. I'm not talking about the consumer end of the product. Again, that what they are doing at their consumer end of the product, that's fine. I don't have an issue with that. Create your ecosystem, lock everybody out. That I don't have an issue with. Is the in-house design, is the idea that we need to close ourselves to the rest of the world. They stop using Intel. They stop what they call it, taking ideas from other people. They stop cooperating with other with other companies like Apple, like the PlayStation. The operate the what they call it, the main chip inside the PlayStation is produced by I think it's produced by what's this company? There's a name for it. It's a chip maker in America, like Samsung. Snap. Yeah. The chip maker is produced. It was, I think it's either Intel or this other company. AMD. Yeah, AMD is the one that makes the chip. Oh. Samsung's chip is Samsung makes their own in-house chip. It's called Exynos. But the ones that go into their top-end products, into their top-end phones, is made by Snapdragon, because Snapdragons produce the best chip for Android phones. So again, Samsung has their own ecosystem. They are trying to get people into their ecosystem. But guess what they did not do? They did not stop working with other people. Again, what you sell to your customers, you can make yourself closed up. But you should not think that you are closed up within your own manufacturing end. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Like, what you sell out to the people is different from what you should be thinking. What you should be, you yourself that is producing it, you shouldn't be thinking like your customers. You should know better than your customers because you have all of this information, you have all of these things. What your customers, like the average customer is an American who doesn't want to, they do not think about where the screen of their phone comes from. That's not their job. All they need to think about is, this is my Apple. It connects extremely well with my Apple, with my MacBook, and when I get home, I can just take whatever I'm doing straight to my iPad. But you yourself shouldn't be thinking that way. You should be thinking about how you should always be taking from other people and adding to yourself. Sorry, you were saying.
For example, they do work with others, right? They don't just talk about it. For example, iPhone screens are made by Samsung. Like, I think they do work. The thing is they just try not to. No, so they just try not to talk about it because then it defeats the point of we are exclusive. But their whole thing was always that, like, we will innovate. We are the top in, and to be fair to them,
innovation was a big selling point for them.
Because I thought about it, right? They did innovate with their M1s, with the laptops, right? With the M1, M2, M3, they pushed the barrier with that. But the problem with it is that that's the only thing I can think of that they've pushed the barrier with. So guys, anyway.
Who's the new CEO? Who's the CEO of Apple
Tim
right
Cook.
now? Is it still Tim Cook?
Yeah, it's still Tim Cook.
Why are you looking for a new CEO? Why do you want to have a new?
No, in my head, I just remember that at some point the CEO of Apple changed, and I was sure it was Tim Cook, but I wasn't sure. My point is, at the end of the day, he's getting paid. That man probably owns houses all across the world. He's living his best life. We are here pontificating about why Apple is not innovating, whereas I don't think anybody in this chat right now has a single Apple stock. So
what does before we move on, what does Apple founder and Bob Marley have in common? What does Apple founder and Bob Marley have in common?
They like t-shirts.
What really? No, apparently, right? So they both had cancer, right? And they refused to get treated the tradition, like by going to the old hospital and thing. I just thought it was quite interesting how two very, very, very smart people chose that particular path. Anyways, let's jump into our topic because that wasn't actually our topic.
Do you know what? Before you go on, do you know what? Our family doctor died from cancer and he chose not to get treated.
No, don't get me wrong. It's not like they didn't get treated. They chose not to go through the Western form of treatment.
Oh, they chose alternative medicine.
Yes.
Having been close to cancer, right? The truth is this: chemo is horrible. So I genuinely understand. So chill. The point of view of, look, if what I want to try, if it doesn't work, it's fine, but I don't want to suffer on the way there, right? Like, I don't want to suffer, which is why some people say they don't want to do convention, the radiation and all those, because like it is
intense.
That it's horrible. It's horrible. Yeah. So like, if I would die
on that morbid note,